welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Natalie Megan and this is Weirdo Book Club. Today we're going to be getting festive. 'Tis the season after all. But before we do that, let me show you my underwear. Courtesy of today's sponsor, Parade. Parade is a size-inclusive, women-owned, sustainable intimates brand that has everything you need from bras and underwear to bodysuits, pajamas, and even a little lingerie. In November, Parade is going to be hosting its TYSM, or Thank You So Much sale, from November 21st to the 29th, and then its Black Friday Cyber Monday sale from November 29th to December 3rd. Both sales offer 30% off site-wide, excluding the 80% off sale. But if you use my code or follow the link in the description, you don't have to wait for those dates to start shopping. And instead of 30% off, you get 50% off, which is a great excuse to just start stocking up on some of your old favorites or try something new, or maybe even do some shopping for a loved one. I tried some new stuff this time around because I was running low on underwear, and you always need more underwear. In my opinion, you can't have too many. So I decided to grab a few pairs of underwear from their beloved Replay collection. First, I grabbed the Replay high-waisted brief in the color 8 ball. It is so comfortable and stretchy, but it still offers me the support that I need, and it has these fun little mesh panels on the sides just to kind of give a little edge to it, you know? Instead of feeling like I'm wearing like a brief, I feel like I'm wearing a brief, you know? I also grabbed a thong because your girl likes to have options. I got the Replay thong in the color Premium Plum. It is so comfortable too, and it also comes with a little mesh panel across the front band. And since Parade is having such great sales this month, I will definitely be buying a ton more of these. Use my code Weirdo-BF at checkout to get 50% off site-wide, excluding the 80% off sale, and get yourself something cute and comfortable, because with Parade, you don't have to choose. Thanks again to Parade for sponsoring this video and for sending me my new favorite pairs of underwear, and let's get back to it. I'm finding it. So today we're going to be talking about and reviewing Stuffed. Can you even see this? Is there a point to this? What is the point of this? Stuffed by Jessica Gadziala. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I tried. A Thanksgiving romance, it says. Yeah. And I mean, we had a lot of fun with the last one, right? So I thought, why not? Why not do another? Stuffed this month full. Now, this Stuffed that we're talking about today is not to be confused with this Stuffed about a pillow, which I also downloaded. Will I review it? I don't know. We'll see, I guess. You'll have to subscribe and stick around and find out. But this Stuffed that we're reading today is a 158-page Thanksgiving romance novella, as I said. It was originally published November 3rd, 2016, which makes a little bit more sense when we start moving through, but not enough. And it's classified as a contemporary holiday romance. Straight up. Who is she? I don't even know. The novella is written in dual POVs, one belonging to our female main character named Callie, and the other belonging to her childhood mega crush, who's also very close with her family and happens to be at Thanksgiving dinner when she goes home, Adam. We're gonna have fun. Disclaimers before we get started. This review will contain spoilers, opinions, and general shit talking. I don't recommend staying if none of that sounds appealing to you. You're not going to have any fun here. So scoot on out of here. Also, if you're the author, don't hang around. You don't want to be here. The synopsis reads, I haven't been home for Thanksgiving in 6 years. A couple days before I leave to head home, I'm informed that my brother's best friend and also my huge obnoxious adolescent crush will be there as well. Clunky. Lots going on already. So among a shaky work situation, a newfound potato chip addiction, and the usual stress of heading home for the holidays, I have a sudden urge to prove that I was no longer the mumbling, bumbling girl in Hogwarts robes and her nose in a book. At first, I was worried we were getting a fanfic or something, but no, it's just a nerdy white girl who likes HP a lot, which is what I meant when I said that since it was published in 2016, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, but not enough. Not that anything was going to happen between us. Those hopes had died around the time I headed off to college, but maybe. ... Okay, whatever you say. Yeah, the HP stuff. Her black cat that is also talked about in the book a lot is named Albus. Let's just go, okay? I don't want to be here all day. The dedication reads, to the mumblers, the bumblers, the blushers, and the trip over your own 2 feeters. We shy girls, we totally get love too. And bully for you. Everyone deserves love. That's not a joke. I know I have tears in my eyes, but they do. Everybody deserves love. I'm serious. Like, I'm trying really hard. Yes, everyone deserves love, even the mumbly, stumbly, bumbly Bellas of the world. Okay, so chapter 1 is Callie. Yeah. So Callie is a 20 something, mid late 20s something, going home for Thanksgiving after not being able to make it home for the holidays because of work for the last 6 Thanksgivings. But I mean, work wasn't her only excuse. I mean, she was in college and then she had the flu and a minor car accident. But this year she gets to go back and she is stressed, as we all are as we head into the holiday season with our family members after everything. Anyway, she's stressed. And because of all this stress, she's gained a little weight. And you know, who hasn't? No shame there. However, lots of shame. You'll see. This weight gain was thanks to the fact that when I got stressed out, I ate potato chips. And when I ate potato chips, I didn't just eat a handful. Oh no. I attacked the entire bag like a bear preparing for hibernation. Okay. Let me tell you, I have become a real connoisseur too. Plain potato were best for a binge. When you're double fisting the greasy goodness while rocking in your office cubicle, trying not to worry about what would happen to you if you found yourself suddenly unemployed. Sour cream and onion was also good for that too. Barbecue and salt and vinegar varieties were good for a little anxious grazing, but not DEFCON 1 level panic, because if you ate too many, they made your tongue hurt. And they had to be chips. Combos, Fritos, and Bugles need not apply. I also think it went without saying that baked and low-fat varieties could take a hike as well. And here I was thinking that since this was just a contemporary romance run-of-the-mill novella, that we weren't going to encounter anything dumb and then it might be a little boring. Yeah, well, I have been wrong before. It happens. So this person sounds like a nightmare to work beside in a cubicle, just for the crunching alone, let alone like all the other stuff that just, she's a mumbling, bumbling, chip addicted crazy girl. Ah, I don't want to work with you. Please move. I don't care what you eat, honestly, and I don't care how much of it you eat, but do it quietly. I have a sensory thing. And this is so weird. Like the author was like, instead of a personality, I'm gonna make her obsessed with HP and give her disordered eating that centers around binging potato chips and calling herself a connoisseur of chips. Well, I don't need her to be smart or interesting. No, funny. Nah, 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 nah. I want a chip addiction. So she goes on to tell us that her parents and her brother are all super strict about what they eat, and her brother's like in really great shape. They eat only organic stuff, and that makes her the weirdo of the family because I was the freak who binge ate chips and had very strong opinions about ice cream flavors. Whoa, ma'am, calm down. You can't come in this house with those shenanigans. She also says that since she grew up with their habits, it made her metabolism so great that she hardly ever gains that much weight regardless of her binging. Isn't that swell? Isn't that great? I don't really love that there's so much. Why are we talking about? What are we doing? It's already difficult sometimes being around your family that likes to have comments on your weight. Why are we doing this? This just seems a little much. I don't need all of this. What are we doing? So she's on the phone and her mom's filling her in on who's coming to dinner. She mentions that her cousin Amy, who always bullied her in school because she was quiet and bookish, will be there too. And of course, her brother Corey is bringing Adam. The Adam. No, not the one from the Bible, okay? The one from her childhood, who she has been just in love with her whole life. And I swear to God, if there is a tangent about her weight and then he's like, you don't need to lose weight, I'm gonna freak out. She's like, OMG, I'd almost forgotten all about him and the life-shattering crush I had on him. Until my mom said his name and it all came screaming back to me. The way I used to discreetly watch him from behind one of the books I had my nose buried in, quite often while sitting beside the pool while he and Corey swam with friends, wrapped in my cover-up with huge dark prescription sunglasses so no one could tell I was ogling him. What can I say? He was gorgeous and he was older. He was 18 to my 14, and I knew that even if my were more than a wish and a prayer, he still wouldn't have looked twice at me. You know, being over 6 foot, muscled, dark-haired, light green-eyed, chiseled faced. That's something. And charming and all that jazz. Yeah, from Adam's POV, it's starting to sound like a horror movie. Actually, her sitting poolside watching him as he's just literally trying to live his life is very swim fan of her. Y'all seen that movie? And from this POV, it's just exhausting. They continue to talk and chat about when she'll get there, and she says this depends on traffic, and her mom's like, why don't you just fly? And she's like, but my cat. Right before they hang up, her mom's like, don't bring anything except your appetite. And Callie thinks to herself, no problem there, because I'll only be able to have access to these chips that I'm able to fit into my bag. This is so stupid. Not the disordered eating. I'm not saying that disordered eating is stupid. I'm not talking about that. Or the specific food proclivities that she's obviously having. Like, that's not stupid. It's weird that this is her only personality trait so far. Aside from being mumbling and bumbling and in a book, she's obsessed with chips. I mean, she mentioned that she went to college. No clue what she majored in. She mentioned that she has a job. No clue what she does. She says that she loves books. Haven't heard what kind. But we know exactly what kind of chips she prefers. This being her only personality trait is stupid. This even being a personality trait is stupid. Okay? So she gets off the phone and does something that I expected. She goes into the bathroom and stares at herself in the mirror. Of course. And when she looks at herself, she thinks not bad about what she sees in the reflection. But she also goes on to tell us that she's never been a looker. She's not curvy in the right way. She's got plain brown hair, but she does have milky white skin. Milky white skin, we love to see it. And she's like, it doesn't even really matter because Adam's probably going to still think I'm a nerd. She kind of always has been. And even though she's had sex with like 2 entire men, she still hasn't been laid in like 11 months. She starts to pack and then realizes that she doesn't like any of the underwear she has, so she grabs her keys and heads out the door to buy new ones. If only the girl had my code, am I right? Shout out to Parade. Anyway, she heads out to buy more underwear and more chips because she can't get enough. She says it's a DEFCON 1 kind of night. So chapter 2 is Callie again. So she does end up flying instead of driving, and we get a little bit of a peek at her like airport aesthetic and vibe. And honestly, I can't get enough of this girl anyway. Give me more. She is the Lay's potato chip bag to my heart. I walked through the airport, pulling my purple bag behind me, holding Albus's carrier in the other, with a messenger bag full of books. Okay, and some chips. Not a lot, I swear. Don't you dare break the fourth wall with me to talk about this bullshit. Worn crossbody in my funky fall leaf printed leggings and giant, literally 4 sizes too big, gray sweater that almost came down to my knees and a pair of knockaround flat-heeled brown boots. Several things I need to say. Get a Kindle. I'm not brand loyal to this. This is just the one that I have. And then you won't have to carry around giant books for no reason. You're making your life harder on purpose. 2, I don't know what knockaround boots mean. She says it a couple of times in here that she dons her knock-around boots. What the fuck are knock-around boots? Is this a term I'm not familiar with because I'm a millennial and I'm just out of touch? Also, why are you still telling me how big you are? Why are we still talking about it? 4 sizes too big. Don't speak directly to me. We're not friends. I'm gonna move on. My hair was in a messy bun on top of my head and my somewhat big hipsterish black rimmed glasses on my nose and pillow marks from my nap on the plane on my cheek. It was a look. It certainly is. Her dad's there waiting for her, and he is the reason that she is so bookish. And when she finds him, she hugs him, and they immediately start talking books. What'd you bring? I feel myself smile, never having found anything more comforting than a fellow bibliophile. Or your father. It's your father. A little Hardy and some new paperbacks I found on a new release table. And? Okay, so I brought some Austen too, and maybe a collection of Poe. That's it, I swear. You do remember that I have all those in my library at home. My copies are prettier. Hold on. Far be it from me to criticize the reading habits of a fellow bibliophile, but what the f is this? You brought classics? Oh, and some new paperbacks that you found at the table. So my bad. Thomas Hardy, Jane Austen, and Edgar Allan Poe. You brought like 6 or 7 books. Most of them were classics. Can you imagine? A couple hundred books in here, but whatever, do what you want. They drive back to her home, which when they arrive, she tells us is a light green 3-story colonial with an acre and a pool. And the pool isn't operational right now, obviously, because it's November, and she's super bummed because it would have been nice to see Adam in a swimsuit. This woman's not okay. We get a more detailed look at the house and the decor than we have gotten of Callie this whole time, and I don't care about either. She spots her brother in the kitchen with her mother, telling us that he got most of the good looks in the family and left her with all the leftovers. And then she practically seizes because Adam is also standing in the kitchen. I'd been right when I said he'd probably aged well. I was also right about how unfair it was, especially given that he was a looker to begin with. But as fate would have it, the years were uncommonly kind to him, making his already chiseled face look even more cut, his jawline stronger, his forehead more distinguished, his cheekbones just a little deeper. So he's handsome Squidward. Noted. And his body, yeah, well, it had certainly taken on a more masculine form too. All wide shoulders and strong chest under his perfectly tailored clothes. Anyway, right as she's stumbling through her greeting, she's so awkward. Her cat screams, prompting her brother to ask Adam if he remembers having to take her to that midnight premiere of all the HP films. Adam's like, yeah, I bought her a wand at one. Yuck. I will say that before picking this book up, and in the first couple of moments with this book, I did not expect HP to have such a role, but here we are, I suppose. I feel the need to say turfs, but if you've been here a while, I feel like my stance on things is pretty clear. You can head to my TikTok and get some clarification. It's been a rough couple of weeks. Her mom's like, my God, Guarl, what are you wearing? I'm paraphrasing. She didn't say that. But Callie's like, I didn't realize company would be here already, to which Adam lovingly says, come on, Pip, you still consider me company? I hate nicknames. Yeah, but Pip was forever ruined by the Wild and the nickname that the man in that book had for his teenage daughter slash lover, Pip, short for Pipsqueak. This one is short for Pippi Longstocking, though, and if you think that makes it better, it doesn't. Anyway, she goes to set down her bag and her cat and her books as she starts to change clothes while standing in her leaf leggings and a tank top. Adam just appears in the doorway because I guess she didn't close it or he doesn't know how to knock. The leggings have me wondering if she was a part of the LuLaRoe scam. She seems like she would be. He's like, why haven't you come home for so long? And she's like, I've been working. And I'm like, why didn't you close the door if you were planning on changing? Anyway, they chat a bit more and it's boring. He says dinner's in an hour and that she shouldn't change. Okay. It's not Thanksgiving, by the way. This is just another dinner. There's a lot of festivities that come before Thanksgiving because we're blessed. He leaves and he closes the door behind him because he knows how doors work, and she exhales and considers scarfing down some chips, but she doesn't. She also considers running to the store for some makeup so that she can show him that she's not just that nerdy HP obsessed kid anymore. Zad, I'm not your little girl anymore. I want to go to fashion school. Why didn't you bring makeup to begin with? You knew he was going to be here. Do you not wear makeup usually? Do you not have makeup at home? Are you one of those girls too? You scarf down chips and pass on mascara. She doesn't go to the store though. She doesn't do anything except head back downstairs to try and be social. She runs into her bully slash cousin, Amy, in the hallway on the way down. And as she's descending the stairs, perfect Amy walks right up to Adam and just plants one right on him, prompting Callie to fall down the stairs. Oh! Chapter 3 is Callie. She stands up as Amy starts to make a joke at her expense, and Adam's like, are you all right, homie? You good? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna go help mom so you guys can catch up. And Amy's like, we don't need to catch up. We never lost touch. Ouch, burn. Sick burn, Amy. She goes into the kitchen scowling, and her mom sends her to grab some wine for the table since dinner's almost done. She gladly hurries off. When she comes back, dinner is ready, and to be honest, it sounds incredible. We have butternut squash soup, a chopped kale sweet potato cranberry salad with a sweet but tangy dressing. Then for the main course, we have stuffing filled baked pumpkins, grilled veggies, and seasoned chicken. How do I get invited to this? They start chatting and Callie's mom asks her, how's work? And Callie's like, good, but it's not good. And she's lying. And Amy knows that. She's like, I thought they were downsizing because of the merger. I didn't go over that earlier. She talked about it a little bit, not enough for it to be important enough to come. I never thought this would have come back up. I thought we were going to talk about chips and HP the whole time. Oh, and her weight. Anyway, Amy, knowing this, lets Callie know that she's been keeping tabs on her. Why? I don't know. So her mom's like, oh, so that's why you got to come home this year. Is your resume up to date? And Callie's like, can we not talk about this? So Corey makes a really funny joke about switching to a lighter subject like politics. But Corey knows full well that there is a strict no religion, no policies at the table rule. Actually, I don't want to be invited anymore. I changed my mind. They eat and they keep the conversations light. They move on to coffee. And all the while, Amy is still making jabs. Why invite this bitch if she's just going to insult your daughter the whole time? Uninvite the shitty family members, Carol. I don't know what her name is. I don't think it's Carol, but I know it's a hot take, but just don't invite the shitty family members to dinner. I know, crazy. They break for the night, but she is so wound up. She grabs a bag of chips and a book and comfy clothes and heads to her old treehouse to just disengage for a while, which honestly, treehouse, love a treehouse, sounds delightful. She spends a chunk of time out there and then she realizes it's probably bedtime, so she heads back to the house and finds Adam shirtless because he's apparently sleeping at their house tonight on a pull-out couch. 10 feet away from where she's gonna be sleeping. Yoinks! Chapter 4, we have Adam. Blessings on blessings. Our first Adam chapter, and he wastes the first chunk of it just telling us more about Callie, but nothing new. All stuff we already know. She and Amy don't get along, and they've known each other forever. And Callie's shy, conflict avoidant, and always has her nose in a book. It was her escape. He was worried the world would have stolen it from her, but she showed up here in her LuLaRoe fit of dreams and a messenger bag full of books, and he knew she was still the same. She's like, what are you doing staying here? Don't you live nearby? Mom doesn't let boys upstairs. Ma'am, you're 25. Breathe. Have a chip. He's like, you know, she likes having everybody under the same roof. Plus, we've got plans tomorrow and I don't want to be late, blah, 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 blah. He tells us more about how it was always so refreshing to come home and see her in layers of baggy clothing, especially when he would come back from college, when he had just grown so tired of all the girls barely wearing anything. So nice, so chaste, so nerdy, so bookish, so bumbly. But when he walked in on her earlier mid-change in the tank and the LuLaRoe leggings, he knew that time had curved her out. Score. She awkwardly says goodnight, and Adam says this will be an interesting holiday for sure. Boring. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Chapter 5, we're back with Callie. Callie is a grown woman, dang it, and she's been with 2 whole men before. Why the heck is shirtless handsome Squidward affecting her so much? She finally does fall asleep after battling images of mounting handsome Squidward all night and is woken up the next morning by handsome Squidward slash Adam. He's holding 2 coffee cups, but she starts to aggressively shake her. No, no, no. And he's like, it's tea. She doesn't like coffee. She's not a coffee fan, and her family never really gets that. They always try to make her drink coffee when she comes home. But he knows. She likes tea. And then he sets it down on her nightstand for her. Then he did the damnedest thing. He sat down next to my hip, looking me over, smiling a bit at my bed messy hair. Bed messy hair. If I wasn't mistaken, his eyes darkened a little as they dipped lower. My own gaze followed, and I realized I'd slept in the clothes I wore the night before, sans the sweater and, well, my bra. So I was just in the tank, and it was morning chilly, and as my old college roommate would say, it was a tit nipply in here for the breast of us. My nipples were sticking out of the material slightly, and Adam was looking. Oh my God, a tit nipply for the breast of us. Some people aren't funny, and I need y'all to accept it. I need you to realize it and be okay with it. If you're not funny, don't try to be funny because it doesn't work. She sits up and reaches for her tea. I don't have tea, I have coffee. I'm not like her. I'm worse. Her tea is perfect. No surprise, he remembered what she likes and how she takes it because that's the kind of guy he was. The guys who pay attention. They start talking about how her mom is already awake making egg white omelets, and she says she'll probably lose weight while visiting, and he's like, you don't need to lose weight. I feel like I said that would happen and I was going to rage, and please know that I am in here. I'm not loving the casual mentions of weight and eating habits. Feels careless and pretty flat to me. And plus it's boring and it is, what are we doing? Stop. So he leaves, she grabs some stuff and heads to the bathroom, runs into Amy. She says something rude. Callie takes a shower and then dresses in cute but baggy, big, oversized clothes again and heads downstairs. They chat about going to the orchard to pick apples, and they have 2 cars, and Adam offers loudly and pretty awkwardly, if I to say so, Callie can ride with me. Like, okay, breathe, have a chip. And Amy tries to jack her spot, but Callie's mom swoops in, wing woman of the year, and it's like, no, Amy, ride with me. You have to tell me about your mom. How's she been? They get into their respective cars, and Callie's just sitting there silently as they make their way to the orchard, and Adam's like, hey, you know, one time you told me about Shakespeare, you ranted for 2 hours and I listened to you. So you can talk to me, Callie. You don't have to sit there quietly. So they do, they chat. She lives in an apartment. He has a fixer-upper house that he bought. They arrive and start to pick their apples. I had about a third of my bag filled when I got the distinct impression I wasn't alone. I hadn't heard anyone, but the hairs on my arms and neck stood up. My belly felt wobbly. How did you... I turned slowly, an apple in my hand, to find Adam standing there, his bag already on the ground beside mine, his hands tucked into his pockets, making his shoulders square. His head was ducked to the side, watching me. This is all I saw. This is all I saw with that description. If this guy and handsome Squidward had a baby, that's Adam. He asks if she's avoiding him. It's an orchard, dude. please. She's like, don't. And he's like, don't what? Don't want to talk to you? Don't be interested in what you have to say, or maybe. He said, his hand raising. I felt his fingertips glide over my cheekbone and then down my neck and glide over my cheekbone and then down my neck as he tucked my hair behind my ear. Okay, so, but you tuck it this way. Glide over my cheekbone, then down my neck as he tucked. So he pulled a Yui. Say things out loud, act them out when you're writing them. It helps to make sure you're painting a clear picture. Don't give you something you've been thinking about since you were a teenager. And then he kisses her. Why? Why? The only reason so far that he's given for an attraction to her is that she's at last finally physically filled out. If this is love, I don't want it. Then they make out a bit in the orchard. And when she pulls away, she says she has to press her thighs together to ease the clawing, demanding need. Ooh, clawing. Callie! What a visual. She's rattled, but clear-headed enough to be like, I don't like the way he spoke about that. He knew I had a crush on him this whole time. Is that why he did that? Just because he could? Just because he wanted to see if he could and get a reaction? Amy shows up, of course, links arms with Adam and leads him away. He does not put up much of a fight either, which makes Callie even more insecure, and honestly, I would be too. She heads back towards the cars with her apples, and she climbs into her mom's car only to have Adam swing the door open and stare down at her. What a weird guy. Chapter 6 is Callie again, and Adam is still leering at her in the car, and he's like, you're not doing this. She's like, I'm not doing anything. And he's like, why are you in this car? And he's like, I assumed you and Amy were riding together. He's like, you're jealous. Jealous? You don't even exist to me. No. And then she's like, I don't know if you were aware of this, but Amy has always been mean to me. She has bullied me my entire life. And then he tells her, Kelly, I'm not stupid. I didn't know she teased you, and that sucks. I thought you weren't stupid. She's bullied me. I'm not stupid. I didn't know that, but I'm not stupid. I think you're stupid. He tells her, he's like, if she was bullying you, it's probably because she saw you as competition. And she's like, you saw me in high school, right? Baggy clothes, nose in a book. So the same that you're now. You now are still the what I remainder carry the two. Like, you're still the same. You're still the same, except now you're curvilicious. And he's like, I saw you, Cal. I saw you and all that you were, but you were too young, Pip. My heart seemed to freeze in my chest, a tight, crushing sensation as my belly did a flip-flop that was at once thrilling and scary. Was he saying what I thought he was saying? I don't know. What do you think he's saying? Adam, what? I'm saying I was 18 and you were 14 and it was wrong for me to even think it. But I thought it. Thought what? I thought you were the prettiest girl I'd ever seen, and more than that, you were interesting. You know how rare that is to find in someone 4 years younger than you at those ages? What? What? Do you know how hard it is to find an interesting 14-year-old when you're 18? No, I don't. I don't. I don't think. What a weird thing to say. You're being weird. You blew all the other girls out of the water, Cal, but I was too old for you. And then he's like touching her or something. Like her family. You're at an orchard. Can you please? This is not orchard behavior. I don't know. I've never been to an orchard. That's not true. I've never gone to an. Never mind. Who cares? And then he's like, are you going to admit it or not? And she's like, admit what? Admit that you had a crazy crush on me as a teenager. She ducks her head and he's like, no, no hiding. I had a crazy crush on you as a teenager. And last night when he was shirtless, he was like already under the covers and like the sheets were barely covering. And so he's like, and admit that you were totally wondering what I looked like under that sheet last night. Admit that and I'll admit something too. I'd rather not. I want to go home. I don't like this. I was under the impression that maybe with a title like Stuffed, the turkey was going to come to life and start banging people. And that's what I wanted. I went in blind, and that's my bad. But now we're in this, and we're just having a stupid, regular love story. This is stupid. She admits it, and so he admits. And I've been wondering for years what's under all these thick layers and what you would sound like moaning my name while I... Oh, this is so freaking weird. This is so weird. And what you'd sound like moaning my name while I eat that sweet of yours. Or what you would feel like body under mine deep inside you. Wow. There you are. Her mom is there. Her mom shows up. Call me crazy, but as an adult woman now, the idea of going back home with family and banging it out in a room like right above or adjacent to a room that my family's in, Not on the menu. Absolutely not. Send it back. I don't want it. This is not what I ordered. I don't want it. No, take it back. Refund. Not only mom, but everybody's back. And he's like, my car was locked, so Callie's just chilling in here. And Amy's like, good enough. Let her stay in here. I'll hitch a ride with you. And then really, what could be said? There was no way for Adam to deny her. Yeah, there is. She shouldn't even be at dinner. She shouldn't even be here. Whatever the opposite of conflict avoidant is me. I will not do this. I don't like this. I don't like it when other people do it. It's so weak and it makes me want to punch you in the throat. Just say, no, Callie already called shotgun. Or no, Callie's coming. Or no, me and Callie forever. I don't know. Shoo, get away, go, rah. I just wouldn't go to Thanksgiving. I wouldn't have come home either, Callie. I don't blame you for not going home. She rides home with her mom, a little disappointed in everything, and Corey notices. And when she gets home, she's like, I could go talk to Adam about what we were talking about, but instead I'm going to have an uncomfortable conversation about my job and my resume with my mom for an hour or so. Actually, she just spends several hours just avoiding him altogether. She talks about her resume with her mom and then switches over to books with her dad. She finally wanders upstairs around 9. It's been a long day. So she goes to sleep and she wakes up to someone tracing down her nose like a star is born. Why does this man not have boundaries? He's like, calm down, it's me. I'm not calm, sir. You're a man in my bed that was not invited here touching me, which was also not given consent. I can't even say a sentence. Anyway, he's like, so this avoiding me thing, is this something that I'll have to endure for the rest of your vacation? And she's like, he's right. This is a vacation because my life is in DC and his life is in Massachusetts. Okay. Even if we did finally give in, even if I got what I wanted for an embarrassing number of years, it would only be temporary. I would have him for the holiday and I would lose him after. She's like, I think this is a bad idea. And he's like, really? Because this is the best idea I've ever had. And then starts touching her again. And at this point, I would pepper spray him. It's one thing to have a crush on somebody and think about this stuff. It's another thing to just start doing it without actually communicating about. He's in the middle of a dark room at her parents' house that she was sleeping in and he woke her up by touching her. And so he's like, I think we should do this. She's like, I care about you and my family cares about you. This could get weird. And he's like, I care about your family too. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was worth it. Have you not ever done anything that you just felt was right? And she's like, no, I think through all of my decisions. I carefully consider all possible outcomes. And then he touching her still and he gets to a hot spot and he's like, you know what the outcome of this would be? An orgasm. Get out. Just reading the spice. Ugh. Traced up my slick cleft. He's having a snack, if you get me. Oh, walls. Great. Love, love, love. Walls. Love it. So she arrives and he's like, I've been wanting to see this for a while. So he watches her arrive, which is fine. I think right then, aside from when you're talking about books, is the only time I've ever seen you completely open. I've got to say, Pip, it's a fucking sight to see. What? I stop calling her that. Stop calling her that. Stop calling her that. Stop calling her that. Get out. She starts to get a little anxious about all of this because she's finally, that post, clarity that you get. And she's like visibly tense. And he's like, what's going on? Talk to me. What do you want from me, Adam? I had known men intimately before. I had felt their hands in my panties inside me. I had known the touch of men I swear I loved, albeit I wasn't crazy, uncontrollable, overwhelming in love, but it was slowly earned, comfortable love. I had men I loved and loved me touch me. And it had never felt like Adam touching me. I couldn't let him see that. It was irrational, crazy. So, not getting a response from her or a response that he wanted, he sighs and says, all right, well, we tried. This isn't the time. Try to get some sleep, Cal. Your mom will be up in a couple of hours. Maybe none of this is the correct way to do this. You don't just do this. Oh my God. So he holds her while she drifts back off to sleep. And in a couple of hours, she wakes back up and she's in the same position, but he has been replaced with a pillow. He just dipped. She's a little upset that he left to sleep somewhere else. And it's good that he's putting distance between them because it's probably not a good idea for them to do this, but she's still a little sad about the whole thing. I am also sad. Chapter 7 is Callie again. She goes downstairs and Thanksgiving dinner is underway and there's a ton of stuff and it's delicious. And she thinks to herself that maybe mom is going all out this year because I'm home and I'm having a bit of a rough time. And it makes her feel a little soft inside, soft and squishy. It's customary for everyone to dress up at Thanksgiving dinner. The boys are in button-ups and slacks and Amy is in a flesh-colored bodycon dress with gold bangles and 4-inch heels. I had somehow found the courage to squeeze my slightly wider than it used to be ass into a wine red skirt with a simple, slightly snug white v-neck sweater and ballet flats because, well, let's face it, me in heels was just asking for a broken ankle. Okay. Her mom's like, Callie, you sit next to Adam. They sit down and eat. Wine is flowing, conversation is going, and Adam grabs her knee under the table, which causes her to drop her fork. Again, touching her when it's not appropriate to do so, nor did she give consent. We love that. When she goes to pick up her fork, she notices her mom is like kind of looking at her weird, and like this weird, strange vibe is coming. And she's like, I wonder what this is about. So now that dinner is done, it's time for a round of family football. So the guys get all dressed up in whatever casual clothing. The girls bundle up and get hot chocolates, load into the car, and head out to the football fields. While they're sitting in the bleachers, her mom's like, all right, spill. She's like, spill what? She's like, honey, you've liked that boy for 6 years or so. I know, and it was torture. And her mom's like, yeah, that can be really tough. And I know that it was weird when he started kissing you at the orchard. And she's like, Mom, I'm not your little girl anymore. She's like, Mom, how did you know about that? She's like, I was just walking by. So again, spill. And she's like, I don't know. I've always had such a crush on him. And she's like, honey, if you think that you had a crush on him, that's cute. But you were in love with that boy and you should have been. He was always so sweet to you. And he was. He brought me to midnight releases and bought me wands. He let me babble on about Shakespeare. He bought me a limited edition collection of Lord of the Rings. He bought me a ticket for V for Vendetta because it was R-rated because I wanted to see it so badly. He listened when I talked. He hardly ever made fun of me. Hardly ever. Oh, good. And even though it didn't add to his cred as a hot, popular athlete to do so, he let me tag along when they went to the movies, bowling, the skating rink, or the mall, and he didn't make me feel unwelcome, even though I always suspected I had been, at least a little bit. My mom was right. I loved him, maybe without realizing I had never truly stopped. It's a bit weird that he has now made this declaration that he also had feelings for her back when she was too young and he was 18 and she was 14. And then we find out now that he's done all this stuff, like let her tag along, bought R-rated tickets for her, special editions of books that she likes, and listened to her talk, all this stuff. And that's way weirder now, knowing that he intentionally did not do anything back then because he thought she was too young, but he still did all these nice things. It's very strange to be like, hey, I know you had a crush on me when you were young. You were way too young, way too young, way too young. But I did sneak you into that R-rated movie and let you tag along to all my football games. Why? Why? Especially knowing that he still noticed her back then, even though she was too young. Blah, blah, blah. Just feels a little gross. Just feels a little gross to me. And so then her mom's like, yeah, I know that you were too young for him back then, but I always wondered what would happen if y'all reconnected now. And then Callie's like, oh, is that why you put him on the pullout next to me, near me? And she's like, you can't blame a mom for trying. Trying what? Trying to get him to bang in your house? This is weird, Deborah. I don't think that's her name. I don't remember what her name is. Then she's like, I don't get it, Mom. Our lives are in such different places. It wouldn't even be a good thing. And she's like, well, I don't want you to live your whole life never knowing what it feels like to kiss someone you've been in love with your whole life. And she's like, okay, so are you telling me that I should just do it and give in? And this is an odd conversation, but I don't have the best relationship with my mother. So maybe it's a completely normal mom-daughter conversation, and you will let me know in the comments, I'm sure. So after this conversation, she starts to head down the bleachers, and then a male voice calls out to her. Callie, is that you? A male voice called, making me jump and turn to see one of the players walking up. He was good looking as the rest of them. Tall, broad, classically attractive, chiseled features with blue eyes and dirty blonde hair. He was vaguely familiar to me. I remember seeing him hanging out with Corey and Adam from time to time. Hey, Matt, I said, giving him a small smile. Look at you, all grown up. You look great, sweetheart. Is everyone weird? Is everybody weird? I felt a slight brush creep up, unaccustomed to being complimented and maybe still harboring the high school girl feeling of, oh my God, the football player just said I look good. Yes, everybody is weird. So Matt starts trying to have a conversation with her, and of course, Adam walks up and wraps his arm around her. Can't have another weird guy being weird with her when you're not done being weird with her to begin with. He's like, you cold? And she's like, a little. And he's like, don't worry, I'll warm you up later. Ready to play, Matt? I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like it. When they walk off to start playing their little football game, Amy walks up and she's like, I can't believe he even remembered you. And Adam's so sweet with his big brother act. And then Callie finally snaps. I'm not so sure about that. I'm pretty sure big brothers brothers don't kiss you in the apple orchards or climb into your bed at night and go down on you," I said, moving my gaze over to her, thrilling a little at her wide eyes and open mouth. "This cattiness is getting kind of old, Amy. We're not in high school anymore." With that, sure that if I kept talking, I would literally start tripping over my own words and thereby ruining the strength of my argument, I walked off to join my parents and catch up with their old friends. After football, we all piled in for dessert. So they do, they have dessert. They don't tell me what it is. The boys shower and everything, and they all start going to bed. When she gets into her room, she notices that he has folded up his fold-out couch, and he's like, "Pip, come here. Come here." And she's like, "Okay, what?" And he's like, "We are watching a movie." I hate how he just tells her what they're up to. He just continues to make choices on her behalf this entire book. If this is love, I don't want it. He's like, "Do you remember that time we watched Serenity and your brother wouldn't let you watch it with us and you cried?" And she's like, "Yeah, I was devastated." And so that's the movie that they're watching together. And they snuggle and watch it. She falls asleep as the credits roll, but then she wakes up alone in her bed again. He keeps just dipping. Oh my God, this is so boring. Chapter 8. So she's up and she's in a very F it mood. So she dresses in her regular clothes and goes downstairs. Her mom's like, "What's up with you?" And she's like, "I'm just tired from yesterday." And she's like, "Well, good news. Amy is cooking us dinner." I don't know how that's good news because we hate Amy. And also, I don't really think she did a lot as far as the meal is concerned anyway. So that's not why she's tired, but okay. Her mom also asks if she and Adam wouldn't mind taking Poppy, Grandpa, whatever his name is, back to his retirement home. And Adam's like, "Cool, whenever she's ready." And she is ready, and he has tea ready for her because he's such a sweetie angel. They take him back to the retirement home, and when they rode there, Poppy was in the front seat, and so now it's her turn to get in the front seat. And she doesn't really want to, but he insists because he doesn't like her doing things that she wants to do. He likes to tell her what to do and just do things to her. And they're not going home. Oh no. Well, they are, but to his home. He wants to show her the house that he bought, and it turns out to be her dream house from her childhood. Of course it is. Oh, I'm so tired. I cannot believe I walked into this book with no knowledge of what it was. And there is not a sentient turkey, a magical wish granting half tanuki, half man hybrid, not even a sentient beverage. Nothing. Nothing. It's just a regular cis heterosexual relationship between a man and a woman. Ah! So they go to his house and she's like stunned and he's like, "Do you want a tour?" And she's like, "Yeah." So he shows her one room, like the foyer, and then takes her to the master bedroom. Even though there's a library, he doesn't take her to the library, even though she's bookish and she would love it. He takes her to the master bedroom because this is what? Not about her. It's about him. So they're in the master bedroom and he starts hugging on her and touching on her and all this other stuff. And he's like, "I should have visited you in college." And she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "I thought about it all the time, but I never did." And she's like, "Why should you have visited me in college?" And he says, "I'm not joking. I wish I was making this up. You were old enough." And so he starts undressing her and he's like, "Plus, you had your whole life now, and I figured all the guys were all over you. You'd forgotten all about me. But when you walked back in the other day and I saw that look in your eyes, I knew." And she's like, "Knew what?" He's like, "I knew you still liked me." His touch makes her sex clench tight and her breasts get heavy with desire. And I literally need the phone number for who I need to contact about updating my system because that's not how any of my stuff works. She also shares this delightful little bit of information as he's undressing that I didn't ask for, but here we are. Adam wasn't a boxer's man, or a briefs man, or even a boxer briefs man. Adam went commando. I didn't ask. They start doing stuff, and he enters her and says something about wanting to do this for years. And after they arrive, they just lay there holding each other, touching each other, tracing each other, remembering each other. I don't know what they're doing. The only thing that snaps them out of it is that Amy is calling Adam. Dinner's almost ready and they need to get their butts back there. So they start to dress, and Callie's just really bogged down over the fact that they've now had their moments. And tomorrow she has her flight that takes her back home to her life that is so separate from his. How sad. They go to dinner and they don't talk about it. And they get ready for bed and they don't talk about it. And they go to bed and he doesn't wake her up and they don't talk about it. And she just goes to sleep with a heavy heart. Chapter 9 is Callie again, and she wakes up to yet another A Star is Born nose tracing by Adam Grabby Hands. He's like, "You have to go to the airport in 2 hours. I could let you sleep. Or, no, I choose sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. I choose sleep." She doesn't, though. They fool around again, and it's dumb, so I'm not going to read it. It's also in her parents' house, which one more time, I'm going to let you know, really grosses me out. He makes her arrive 4 times, and on the last one, they arrive together. How sweet. And then they just lay there and enjoy soaking each other's awesomeness up. He brings her some tea and says that there's so much to say, but nothing will change this. Her mom calls her downstairs to have some breakfast before her flight, and then it's finally time for her to go to the airport and head home. Her dad's driving her, and everybody's saying their goodbyes. Adam takes her bags for her and puts it in the car, and she's like, "That's weird, is it?" He then also kisses her goodbye in the living room. I guess there's no secret anymore. It's not, was it a secret? I don't know. She gets home and she starts settling back in with her cat and unpacking her toiletries, and she gets her suitcase so that she can get all her dirty clothes out. But then this happens. I put my suitcase on the bed and unzipped it, and it was then that I realized Adam hadn't taken my bag out of sheer chivalry. He took it because he had put something inside of it. And what did he put? A family-sized bag of plain potato chips. My ass hit the bed as a small sob escaped my lips. Then I did exactly what any woman in my situation would do. I devoured the entire bag, and when that didn't seem to quite numb the pain, I tried half a gallon of ice cream. I showered, I slept in short spells, and I tried to get on with my life. Okay. Chapter 10 is Adam. He is at the racquetball court with Corey, who brought him here to cheer him up because he's not been in a good mood ever since she left. But he can't cheer up, though, because what I had with her was not enough. It's never going to be enough. A few times with Callie isn't enough, especially now that she's legal. Ugh. He didn't say that, but it is forever in my mind that that is the whole basis of this entire thing. But it doesn't make sense for us. It can't work. She lives there, I live here. We have lives. And Corey's finally like, enough of the shit. Is this about Callie? Are you in a grumpy ass mood because of Callie? And he's like, dude, what? And he's like, I'm not blind, dude. You practically stopped breathing when she walked in the other day. Blah, blah, blah. So you showed her your house. You bought her a dream house. Did she love it? What did she think about the library? I didn't even get to show her the library. Man, she did love it, but we can't be together. And then Corey lets him know that she called her mom earlier that week and got laid off from her job. So this is a great opportunity for Adam, this is a weird thing to celebrate the person you love and are, we're low-key grooming a little bit and had a crush on when she was not a legal adult and you were a legal adult, got laid off. It's just a little weird to what this whole thing is weird. Anyway, mom being so sweet and low-key trying to matchmake anyway, offered to let her stay at their house as long as she needs to. So this could be an opportunity for all his grooming to pay off. I mean, for their love story to take flight. That's what I meant, yeah. Chapter 11, Callie. We're running through this. I can't stay here anymore. This is so, She walks us through her getting laid off and eating her feelings with chips and ice cream and then calling her mom about all of it and how she offered to let her move in, and her rent is paid up until December, so that at least gives her a little time to figure out what she's doing next. She does like the idea of going home. It's a comforting thought, but also Adam had clearly gotten whatever that was out of his system. He never followed up or anything, and so it could also be really weird to be back there. She works through it a little bit and then takes a long bath and reads and applies for a few other jobs, and then she is startled by a knock at the door. Maybe startled wasn't the right word. I woke up with my heart lodged in my throat, inwardly suppressing the urge to ninja roll across my apartment floor and go hide in my bedroom. For the bumbling, bookish bibliophile that you claim to be, this is what you think? This is how you construct thoughts? I wonder who it is, though. She opens the door, and a voice is like, wow, Pip, you don't even ask who's out here before you open the door? Yay, it's Adam. Chapter 12 is Callie again. So he has come and he steps to the side and shows a whole bunch of boxes that he brought with him. And he's like, hey, I'm here to help you pack. You're coming home. And she's like, I'm not moving home. And he's like, yes, you are. But when you get there, you'll be spending a lot of time in my bed. Oh, yeah? Then he presents her with a shopping bag full of chips and is like, I knew we'd need these. Let me in. Hate the chip thing. He comes in and he goes through her apartment looking at all her nerdy little stuff, like her floppy disk throw pillow and her R2D2 paperweight and her Tetris wall art. I don't know. She's a nerd, guys. She's a nerd. And she's hiding in her bedroom this whole time, and he's like, you can't stay in there forever. But before she can come out, he just goes in, barges in like he does, because he doesn't understand what doors actually are. I thought he did, but he doesn't. He confesses that he loves her, and she tries to avoid saying that, but she ends up confessing that she also loves him. And great news, he got her a job. He has a friend who works at this small indie publishing company, and they're looking to hire an editor. And since her main degree is in literature and her safety degree was in graphic design, and that's where she got laid off and she didn't like her job anyway, this is it. This is the dream job and the dream man and the dream situation. And she's worried that it sounds like she's getting everything that she wants and it's scary. So she requests that he fucks her. How sweet. That will get your mind off of things. They bang. It's amazing. I am greatly simplifying the banal narration and dialogue and the whole thing. I'm simplifying it all. They chit chat. He talks about how she's always been special and meant to stand out above the crowd. And that's why people were mean to her in high school, because she's not like everyone else. She's better. And he also tells her that he thought about her when he used to jack off. And that he's never had sex with Amy, because she did ask. And he was like, I've never, even on my worst day, been that desperate. Loving all of this. They do it 3 more times. Chapter 13, Callie. They stayed up all night talking about everything, and it felt like no time had passed at all. And that is a really great feeling when you have that with someone. They fall asleep and finally wake up the next day, and he just starts packing right away. He's like, I want to start on your bookshelf. So he does, and he ends up finding a journal of hers from 2006. He doesn't read it. She manages to wrestle it away from him, but she does admit that she wrote long gushing entries about him, and even some poetry about comparing his eyes to emeralds and whatever. Beans is here. Hey, how you doing? You okay? She manages to get her journal away from him. He's like, we have a lot of catching up to do. I've liked you for 10 years and you've been legal for 6 years. I wish that I was making that up. It just kept getting ickier by the chapter. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Beautiful bean footage is here. Wait, hey, you can't just show up in my space, rub up on my glasses, and then leave. That's not how this works. You got to say hello. They bang again, fade to black this time. Oh, thank you. Epilogue. Adam, 1 month later. So she did move back home with her parents, and she stayed the first night with them, but the second night with him, because matchmaker slash mother is like, we have company coming over and they're going to stay so late. Might as well just stay with Adam. And over that month, slowly but surely, she does start moving her things in, even if she's not really aware of it. More of her stuff starts showing up in his house, specifically the library. And he's thrilled. Thrilled to finally have her. Thrilled that she never changed, which is also kind of weird to me, since you had a crush on her since she was 14 and you've known her since she was born, and you didn't do anything then because she was too young, and you probably didn't want it to be statutory since you were fully 18 and she was a child, and you keep saying the word legal, and you're like happy that she never changed, that she's the same old Callie that she was when she was a kid. Fucking weird guy. Yeah. Callie, 1 year later. Whew. So Thanksgiving is back. We're doing it again. She is in a much better place this time. She's loving her life. She's loving her job. She's loving her Adam. Everything. Everything is great. As dinner wraps, her mom asks her to grab some wine, and when she turns around, Adam has dropped to one knee and popped the question, will you marry me? And she says literally, quote, all right, fine. But I'm only marrying you because of the library. And I can't really knock that. I think I might do that too. They say, I love you. The end. So aside from just being epically disappointed that this book ended up just being a regular cis-het romance that was just based around a Thanksgiving holiday, it wasn't great anyway. Like, even if I had entered into that knowing that it was just going to be a little contemporary romance novella. First of all, the characters, flat, hollow, nothing to them really. Amy was a bitch, and I don't know why she was invited. If she's a bitch, I'm not inviting bitches to my dinners. Her parents seemed fine. The thing about her weight and her binging on chips and ice cream and stuff was weird. And then he had no personality whatsoever. Like, I don't know anything about him other than what she was telling us in her chapters. Like, we almost didn't even need his chapters because we got nothing from them. And the whole dynamic between them was icky anyway. Like, I get that they're adults now. And maybe if he didn't say stuff about how you've been legal for 6 years, or I should have visited you in college because you were finally old enough, maybe it wouldn't be so gross. But he is. So it is. And I don't love it. I thought it was really weird and gross. I also thought it was weird that the mom kept trying to push it. And again, their relationship didn't feel very deep, aside from he was nice to her and he was hot. He was handsome Squidward. And handsome Squidward was just eyeing her and thinking about doing her when she was a literal child anyway. So all of it feels really gross. And so back to the dedication about how shy girls, we totally get love too. I'll say it again. If this is love, I don't want it. It's nasty. I don't want it. I didn't want it. It wasn't very well written. It was very clunky and had stupid things thrown in, like the chip shit. I don't understand what the point of that was. Her oversized clothes. It's just, I'm not like other girls. No coffee. No, I like tea. Tea. I like tea. I know. We know. It's fine. It's fine. I thought this was really dumb. It is really short and an easy read to get through because there's not much thought required because not much is going on. So if you want to read a festive, regular holiday romance between a not like other girls, shy, bookish, bumbly, mumbly girl and a guy that she thirsted over when she was a kid, who also thirsted over her when he was a legal adult and she was a child, then enjoy. But I did not enjoy, and I think 1 star, round it to 2 if you want to. Maybe that's my gift to you this holiday season. The 2 stars instead of 1. I wanted to give you 1, but I gave you another one, so you're welcome, I guess. So yeah, that was Stuffed. Would I read more from this author? Probably not, because I wanted the turkey to come to life and start just banging everybody around the dinner table. That's what I wanted. I wanted that to be what Stuffed was. And I'm sure that that book exists out there somewhere. Let's take a break and just talk about what we're thankful for, okay? I am thankful for you guys. I am thankful for having a place that I can come to and express myself, especially around this time of year. It's particularly difficult for me. I know it's difficult for a lot of people, and it's probably going to be a little uncomfortable for a lot more people this year because of the election. I hope that no matter what you're up to this holiday season, that you're taking care of yourself and you're prioritizing you over anything else. Your peace, your energy, your headspace, what you need, your boundaries, all of that. Just make sure you're prioritizing yourself and try not to feel guilty about it. It's really up to you at the end of the day to take care of you. And I hope that you're doing that, and I hope you're able to do that. I love you. You don't have to say it back. I do have some beautiful bean footage for you, so let's roll that. Hey. What are you doing? Oh, it's not right? You gotta fix it? Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. You're the only one who can. Everybody loves you. Oh, okay. I love you. Do you care? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.